Hey guys, this is the Thaumatrope demonstration. Thaumatrope is spelled like this. And it is actually the first form of animation that was developed in England in the 1800s. But an easier way to remember it is a word translated from the Greek called a wonder turner. Now, the reason why they're calling it a wonder turner is because it actually physically needs to turn to create that illusion or that animation in front of your eyes. It involves two images. One of the images completely fills up the entire piece. It has a horizon line, it has a shadow, it has everything colored in. On the opposite side, there's a smaller image that will then fit into the bigger one. So this little turtle is going to be inside of my fishbowl, and all of the background is completely left empty because it's going to be filled in with all the other colors from the other side. So as it rotates in front of your eyes, it combines those two images together, which I'm hoping that you can see on the screen here. Combining those two images and making it look like it's one. Now let's make our own. Here are the things that you're going to need. You're going to need a piece of white paper, or you can use whatever color you want. I just prefer the white one. You need something to trace, so I'm going to use just a regular glass. This is going to be something circular that you're going to trace. A pencil to do that. And this is also something that you can color with too, so if you don't have anything to color with, like I'm going to be using colored pencils, you can use a regular pencil just as a grayscale for your image. Or two images. I'm also going to need a pen. This pen is to help me outline. I know that normally we use some Sharpies at school, but we want to make sure that it's all accessible, so we're going to use a pen instead. And I have a black marker, but I don't know if I'm really going to use it. And we have a sharpener, we have an eraser, just obvious things for your pencil. And I have elastics here that I'm going to use. But you can use any type of string or yarn or anything that can be put onto the sides of your Thaumatrope to help it spin. Some scissors. I'm going to use Elmer's glue, but you can use tape. You can use a glue stick if you want to. Another optional one is a piece of cardboard. Now this was just ripped from one of my Amazon boxes that I have laying around. So it's any type of cardboard. You can use a pizza box, you can use an old cereal box, whatever have you. And this is just to create something that can go in between your images if you want it to be more sturdy. But this is optional, you don't have to use it. For this one, I didn't use it at all. Now, let's make it. We're going to have our glass first. We're going to trace it twice. I'm going to use my pen so you can see it a little bit better. You can use whatever you want to trace the circles as long as you can see them. Okay? We're going to need two of them. One for the front, one for the back. Perfect. Now, the front one is the only one that we're going to use right now, and this is going to be for our larger image. Okay? I'm going to change the image here so that you can see that it can be done, whatever you want to do, it can be done. Okay? Now you can come up with anything that you want. So if the original image that you wanted was like a cat with a mustache, then you would just have the mustache just appear on the opposite side. I'm just going to do a simple image of a potted plant. So first thing that we're going to do, we're going to think about what the pot looks like, and it involves a long oval. This is called an ellipse. It's when you're looking at a circle from its side. Two parallel lines. And now this curve here is actually parallel to this curve at the top of our pot. And we're going to just do a little one on the inside just to symbolize how thick the rim of our pot is. Put a little bottom on our pot here. Again, this is just like a little pottery that might be sitting on a windowsill or something. And remember, we need our horizon line. And we're going to throw a shadow in later. Now this is going to be the pot that we're going to be filling with a plant later on. And remember, that piece that's going to be appearing inside our first image is going to be all by itself on the second one. So if it was drawn all together, it might look something like this. Just kind of some leaves getting started in hopes for spring. Okay, so now we don't need this part right now, but we're just going to work in here. So once you have it all ready to go, you're going to add some color. And keep in mind that if this is, oh no, I forgot to outline. Now again, I'm just using my pen to outline here. If you wanted to use a black colored pencil, or if you have a black marker laying around that you want to use, you can use that. But again, I'm just using a pen because it was the first thing that I found. And I know you're probably thinking, she must have so many Sharpies at home. Well, I couldn't find any right now. But anyway, so right when we're done outlining, we can start adding our color. So if we wanted to have just like a terracotta pot and have it be brown, remember, you want to go with the same direction as the object that you're drawing in. So we have a pot, so we're creating these round lines, kind of like little smiley faces all mushed together. And I might add a little bit more pressure on the right side because I'm going to pretend like the sun shines over here. So that would make the shadow on the opposite side. So I'm pressing a little bit harder with my pencil. This is all done with the same color pencil to make it a little bit darker. And it's going to be the same part, same thing up top here too. So we have the rim of our pot the same color, and again pressing a little bit harder on this side so that we know it's a shadow. And the rim of our pot there. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit different color for the soil. I'm just going to do this magenta color, kind of like it's a bit like a red mulch or something. And then just like I said before, we're going to do a background color for this entire piece. Keeping it all in the same direction so that we have an equal amount of color. Now if you go outside of your circle here, it's okay because we're actually going to cut the circle out. And purple table just to be wild and crazy. Now remember what I said before, we are going to need to have a shadow for our larger object. And the reason for that is because it is standing on the table. It's all by itself sitting on this table. And we said the sunshine's coming from the left. So we want that shadow to be on the right. And you can use whatever you outlined with, or you could use a darker colored pencil. For me, I'm just going to add in some pen lines coming from the bottom right where the shadow is on our piece. So add in just a little bit of where that shadow is on the table. Okay? Now our next step, we're going to cut this circle out. And make sure that you're being as careful as you can on this line because you want to make sure that at the end, both of these circles are the same size. Because if one of them wants to stick out more than the other, then it might throw off the spinning action. Okay? Now, this is all done for now. We're going to put it aside. Now, we're actually going to cut out our second one before we start drawing on it because we want to line those drawings up to decide where the second picture is going to go. and we're going to use some natural sunlight as our light table to do so. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our larger image behind our smaller image. This entire piece is going to be put up against the window. And what we're going to do is we're going to trace the larger piece of where the pot is. We want to know more so where the top of it is to see how the greenery can grow out of it. So let's do that now. All right, just like I said, we're going to use our light source from the sun for our light table. So I have the first picture down in the window, and I have the second image over the top here. So you should kind of be able to see the pot shape right there inside. So you want to trace very lightly. Remember, draw light until you have it right. I'm just going to draw the top because that's going to show where the pot is coming out there. And then we're going to draw our second one. All right, guys, we're back. Right here, we have our smaller image that is just like a ghost of the top of our first one. So now we're going to decide where that plant's going to go. We're just going to have a cute little sprout drawn out, just a few leaves. Hoping for spring, like I said before. And with this stuff, we want to do the same thing we did for the first one. So we're going to take and outline our image. And we're going to actually just draw it so that it cuts it off right at the top of the pot because that's where the image will end. Kind of put in some stem lines, scribbly stem lines, and then erase our pencil lines like we would do in class. We outline, then we erase all of our extra lines that we have underneath. Perfect. Now, I'm going to get all my greens that I took out. Maybe some of this blue-green too. And we want it to be nice and bright against this blue, so we're going to use a lot of this bright green color. And remember, this is an object. So just like the pot, we're going to have some of parts of the plant be darker than the others to make sure that we're telling the viewer that the sun is also coming from the left. So I'm going to use this darker green just to kind of, oh, that's not really dark enough. Let's go in here. On the left side of each of our pieces, we're going to just add a slightly darker color, just to suggest that the light's coming from that side. Now, this is all set. When we have our two images, there's actually a trick to make sure that when it spins, they're both right side up. So if you look at this, the fishbowl one that's already done, and we just kind of flip it, notice the turtle's upside down. That's because when we rotate it, here's right side up, right side up. So we want to make sure that when we're gluing them down, that they're actually, one of them is upside down, like that, okay? So let's start with our first one. I'm going to use the cardboard for this one, but again, the cardboard is not essential to this. It does not have to be there. I'm just going to put some glue dots around the outside. Again, you can use tape, you can use a glue stick, whatever you want. I'm going to glue my first one so that it is right side up, so it's facing me the correct way. And then I am going to look at our images together, kind of line up where it should go. And then as I find the one I want, I'm just going to rotate that circle before I glue it down. Okay, so I'll keep that there. I put glue on the opposite side. Now another thing I forgot to tell you that you needed was a hole puncher. And I forgot to tell you because I don't have one at home. But if you wanted, you can just use a sharp pencil to go through that. You can ask a parent for help on that too, or you can use pen. Please make sure that you are being careful in this step. You want to make sure that your fingers are not anywhere near it. The horizon line is going to help you with this too. You want to make sure that it's not too close to the edge and that it is level. So we are going to just sort of poke a hole here. A little bit harder than I thought. With the cardboard especially. It's a lot easier to poke it through the paper one. Straight across. You want to mark it. And poke it, make sure that the hole goes all the way through. Okay? Now, which brings me to the last step. I have 2 elastics. I'm going to use my scissors and cut them so that they become a bit longer on each of them. And I have to keep keeping this away from my cat Zordon because he keeps stealing the elastics from me. It's not very good for kitties to chew on. We're going to push the elastic through the hole. You can use your pencil to help guide that through there. Just poking through the other side. And we're going to tie it. And you're going to repeat this on the opposite side as well. Try to get creative with your ideas too, guys. You want to make sure that you're not copying something you've already seen. So like if I did a potted plant and you did a potted flower, that's great. Try to come up with your own things, okay? And last but not least, we want to make sure that we initial it. So TJ, that's me, because we always want to sign our artwork. Now we have our potted plant, we have our plant, and as we spin them together, they combine. Thanks very much for following along with me. There are going to be more demonstrations throughout the weeks. Stay safe. I miss you guys. Bye.